Hello everybody, and welcome to Northern Lights Excursions. This was like, a companion novel series thingy to Northern Lights? Here, let me turn up the game volume just a little bit. Just a little bit to see what we're doing. This is gonna be like an episodic thingy? Seems neat. I was asked to record this recently, so we'll be doing it. Well, there's only one episode out, I'm pretty sure. So what is this? The Creole Queen. Nailed that pronunciation. So we're just gonna, get in there, do things. We are Cody. We do still be Cody. Okay. It was another sunny day in New Orleans. The weathermen had predicted there would be nothing but sunshine all week. A perfect chance for Tobin, Liam, and me to embark on a journey into the absolute depths of the bayou, one I'd been looking forward to for a while. Hopping off the streetcar a block away from Garth's, making my way down, I caught sight of Liam's truck. His modest second-hand boat hitched to the back? Okay. Oh man, I hope fixing that old engine didn't cause Liam too much trouble this time. Chuckling, I dipped into the restaurant, giving a wave to one of the waitresses, Sandra. I make my way out to the courtyard, smiling at the sight of my best friends.
Oh, hey, Cody!
The gator enthusiastically waves, pulling a spare chair out from the table, giving it a pat. Salute? Salute? I think that's what that is. The T's silent, right? I think. I'm not sure. Okay. Guys, hope I haven't missed anything exciting. Not really. Figured we should wait for you before eating anything.
Yeah, we're happy to wait.
It took a little time to double check the maps. Pretty sure we'll find it this time. Fishing around in my backpack, I pull out the 4 maps of the area, spreading them out to the table, 3 older-looking ones dating, back to the 1910s, 30s, and 50s, and one from just a few years back. Spending countless hours in a library researching maps wasn't nearly the craziest thing I'd ever done. Not after years of studying everything and anything I could get my paws on about filmmaking. After having challenged the librarians so often that they already knew me by name, I was fairly certain at least one of them would go out of their way to get busy whenever I came near. What makes you so sure? I was going through these old bayou maps, and I noticed a river that's missing from all of the oldest ones. I pointed out the clearly defined river from the 1910s, contrasting how for decades, other maps had covered it up with trees, land, empty space, anything but a river. Rivers aren't exactly known to go missing.
Yeah, that's kind of fishy.
Oh, maybe I should turn up the game volume a bit more. There we go. It's what I was thinking. Maybe it got blocked off from a storm or something, but you'd think it'd still be charted.
So, if that boat is real, it has to be there.
No other place for it. Aside from the bottom of the Gulf. You know, Laura coulda just pulled our tail, right?
Aw, she wouldn't do that. That boat is real as the soul and the music of New Orleans.
Even if it's not there, and it will be, nothing wrong with exploring the bayou some more. These maps are practically screaming at us. Some secret is waiting there. Garth? Oh, that's the owner, right?
You boys mind moving those maps?
Snapping my head up, catching sight of Garth holding 3 plates of food, I hurriedly scrambled to clear up the table, a little embarrassed to have found myself so caught up in my hopes. The large bear sets down a plate. He's a bear, with our favorite meals for each of us. Shrimp and grits for Liam, gumbo for Tobin, and crawfish etouffee for myself.
You'll still hope for that boat, I see. Oh, y'all still looking for that boat, I see.
Of course we are. We need something big for our last movie.
Well, I packed you some food for tonight if you get hungry, and a little something for the spirits.
Spirits? What kind of spirits?
If you find a ship that doesn't want to be found, you'd best be willing to offer her and her guests a kindness for crossing over to their side.
Would be pretty cool to see a real ghost.
Don't expect you'll find any angry ones out there, but best be on the safe side.
What if they are? What if they are angry?
Don't worry about that now. Just offer 'em a nice gift for 'em. He's right. Dead or alive, everyone deserves respect.
Thank you kindly, Garth. We'll let you know when we've made it back out of the swamp. Excitedly, we dug into our delicious meals, and now properly fueled, we tucked the bundle of maps back into my bag and loaded into Liam's truck, ready to head off toward the boat ramp that'd be closest to the Lost River. To the Lost River? Oh, no. Oh, I see we're still... Anytime I see these portraits, I'm like, are we on a phone call? Are we on a Discord call with them, you know, here in the... What year did this take place again? Was it the 70s? 80s? Was it the 60s? Was it the 90s? It was not the 90s, I don't think. It has to be the 80s, right? It was the 80s. He has an E.T. shirt. It's gotta be the 80s, right? Am I remembering things correctly? What a time that must have been to be alive. Like being a teenager in the 90s, you know?
Oh, so you think there could be ghosts out there, Tobin?
I don't see why not. Just think about how long there's been life on Earth. Well, excuse me. Lots of people. And maybe whenever we're supposed to go after, it just ain't got enough space.
You mean heaven?
Yeah, heaven, I guess. Listening to the pair of them talking about heaven has me tense up, briefly thinking about all the years I've spent living under the rule of a book, and the kind of people forged by its teachings, like my father. Don't know about you two, but I wouldn't want to go to heaven.
Why not? It sounds magical. All your dreams come true.
I just don't think it's the kind of place I'd be happy if people like my pa get to go there. Talking about religion was never my favorite thing. Yeah, favorite thing to do. But with Tobin and Liam, I felt that I could let my guard down, vent my frustrations over words in some old book. Well, your pa won't be there. He's got a VIP ticket for straight down. What about you, Liam? Do you want to go to heaven?
Maybe. If it can be like this, just the three of us going on another adventure. A never-ending summer.
Summer have to end sometime, else they wouldn't be special. Shut up! Tobin's firm words make my stomach tighten. I tense up in my seat, realizing how close I'd come to crossing a line with him. The fox continued to be in full denial of what lay ahead of us. I'd been trying to play along, to focus on our summer adventures, like him, but it was getting harder by the day, as our final months ahead turned into mere weeks. As we pulled up to the boat ramp, Tobin and I hopped out to help Liam back in his trailer down the ramp, that's what it says, wading together with the murky water to free it from the restraints, holding it steady as the gator pulled away to park. The small metal boat with wood accents, just big enough for the three of us and some camping supplies, sported a simple motor that wasn't getting you anywhere in a hurry. With the pull of a cord, it puttered to life, and we set out into the bayou once again, journeying to find the filming location of our dreams. You thought of the script at all? Not really. Want it to be a little more something different from our normal, though.
Garth would appreciate it not being all bloody.
True, Gorefest doesn't really do well with the people on a full stomach. Ifin? What? How is this supposed to If not, that's what it is. If not, we do find the ship. Wait, if we do find the ship, yeah, I'm not sure how that's supposed to be said. We'll need to be really resourceful with how we get filming supplies on her. Not gonna be easy to filming in some old factory. As easy. I'm just messing up all these sentences. Go man, sorry. As we navigate the bayou, though, narrow paths, open rivers, and treacherous stretches where I had to wade in the water and pull the boat through, the sun slowly set. If music was the soul of New Orleans, the bayou was her heart. A swamp shrouded in mystery, yet blooming with life. Awash with a magic that inspired minds, won over hearts, and provided for those in need. Part of me wished it would also provide the answers I needed most, a way for me to stay, to still be able to follow my dreams without having to leave anything behind. I ruminate on this while walking waist deep, tugging the boat along through a stubborn section of debris. I always look at this and I'm like, debris! The pads trudging through the silt mud, careful to step over twisted roots and of what, cypress? Cypress trees. What does that mean? What the fuck is a cypress? Here, let me change my mic real quick. It's like not quite aligned. Here we go. There we go. Maybe that sounds a little better. Slick plant life brushing past my legs. With a Liam watching for predators, while Tobin scribbles down rough landmarks we could use to find our way back on his notebook.
Hey, Cody?
Yeah?
Did you, did your paw change his mind?
Shut up.
What for? We gotta talk about it at some time.
No, we don't, 'cause it ain't happening. The fox huffed angrily, gripping the pencil so firmly in his paw it snapped in half. Meanwhile, Liam lowered his head, and was in an invisible force sat heavy on my shoulders. No, he didn't change his mind. It's not like he's the problem. He's the only problem. Too late to apply for other places. Certainly can't afford anything else. With a heavy sigh, I kept making my way through the water, pulling the boat along branches, plants, and long-abandoned fishing traps. It was a menial task, and as the silence set in, my mind naturally wandered back to our end goal. Before long, I decided to steer the conversation elsewhere, like I was doing with this boat. You know, towing the boat like this got me thinking about the movie.
Oh yeah?
We could use the bayou to our advantage. My footings are pretty good, and there's enough places to stand out of sight. Taking in the view of the sun rays piercing through Spanish moss, the pink flowers of lily pads, and egret, taking off into the treetops. Somehow, it seems to me like the perfect setting for a love story. Could have a little romance, date night in the bayou. Pushing the boat means we ain't got nothing to worry about the motor noise.
That's not a bad idea. So, something kissy-kissy?
Maybe a more personal tale. As we finally go through the debris and into the clear enough water, I move toward the side of the boat, reaching a paw out towards Liam. Help me back up. Liam grabbed my arm and helped me back into the dryness, right as we got to a clear opening. Look, this is the river from the map. It's real. I told you. Yeah, looks like it. Maybe we'll actually find that boat. But romance is a bit of a stretch.
Yeah? Why romance?
Well, the swamp is kind of pretty right now, and I guess I just want to way to not back us into a corner with how we's do things. That is what that says. Look, the accents are hard for me to read and pronounce. I don't do accents, guys. It just is what it is. Oh, look, Boto! Turning a bend in the river, we all fall silent at the new sight in the distance, the ghostly figure of a ship, an old paddle wheeler looming in the river. An ethereal specter in a sea of fog, standing almost as tall as the trees, fading paint and holes in her side, revealing the ancient wooden bones of a long abandoned vessel. We found it! The three of us hooped and hollered with joy, spreading hugs all around as Liam navigated closer to the ship. She lay silently in her resting place, up straight and stiller than a statue, wearing signs of decay from years of neglect that only added to her allure. She appeared before us remarkably well conserved. Well conserved. Okay, considering her likely age. My eyes fixated on the name of the ship, the letters faded by time, but still evocative enough to inspire the title of our new film. How is this pronounced? How is this pronounced, guys? Creole? No. Creole? The Queen.
Bruh, I can't believe we found it. This is going to be amazing.
Come on, let's get up there and tie off. Liam helped steady the boat, while I gave Tobin a boost to clamber up onto the old wooden deck, soon tossing a rope up for him to secure it. The gator helped me up next, then passing us our supplies, and at least, with our aid, he joined us onto the boat as well. The old wooden decking creaked under our feet. Patches of moss littered the old walkways. Musty air wafted through the creaked windows and wrecked doorways. She's absolutely gorgeous. Not a lick of graffiti, no trash. Tobin had bounded ahead and precariously perched on one of the railings to take a closer look over the side of the ship. Liam had been taking slow and careful footsteps, pausing whenever a board creaked particularly loudly. I think we might be the first on board her since she was left here.
Kinda weird it's left behind, though, right? I mean, she is still floating upright after who knows how long. Lost out here in the mire.
Looking over the railing, watching the murky, still water, I confirmed that, indeed, there didn't appear to be any lean to the boat. Okay. It really was more or less ready to go on another voyage, had she a capable crew. I let my hand run along the railing of the first floor walkway, fingers tracking the old wood, the other paw brushing over the wall, eyes closed as I let the sensation fill me. Tobin and Liam followed suit, similarly memorized. This would have made for an amazing clubhouse if we'd known about it sooner. Yeah, think of all the cool things we could have gotten away with out here.
I bet Billy would have opened a whole bar out here if he had the chance.
I wish he was still here. Flinching at the sudden mention of Billy, my ears lower. He was well known in school for being the one to reach out for the beer, if you had the money. Though, truth be told, it wasn't the thought of law-breaking that made me tense up upon hearing his name again. Rather, it reminds me of the worst night of my life. Oh, hello, Billy. A fox. Okay. Hey, Cody. You asleep yet? Nah, you? Don't feel like sleeping, if I'm being honest. The red fox sat upright on the floor, Oh, having wormed out of his sleeping bag a fair bit, his eyes glistening against the faint moonlight piercing through the window. "Can I ask you something?" While Billy had never been my closest friend, we'd always had what felt like a natural pull towards each other. A sort of understated honesty we shared, for a reason neither of us could quite fathom. "Yeah, sure." "You came, how come you and Rebecca didn't, you know, do stuff after prom?" "Toby said you didn't even get to make out lane." Sitting up in my bed, I leaned back against the headboard, nervously glancing over the fox, then leaning back into the darkness. I don't know. "Well, there's gotta be a reason, right?" "I just didn't even want to go. Everyone I cared about kept pulling on my rudder, saying I'd had to go with somebody. Like it was some sort of rite of passage, being 18 and all." Drawing my knees up to my chest, I nestled my chin between them, a heavy sigh escaping my muzzle. Even Tobin and Liam kept insisting. I had to invite somebody.
Holy heck! Would you look at this place?
Shaken from my thoughts, I only then realized we turned to some corner and walked into what had no doubt been the pride and joy of the ship in her heyday. A once majestic ballroom, taken over by Father Time, rotten wood, tipped over furniture, water-stained walls, and yet there was a beauty to it all. Deep mahogany trim framed the ceiling, remnants of a once lavish wallpaper, eaten away by the elements, and once impressive columns were now splintered and struggling to stay upright, giving the space an endearing, radiant glow. "This has gotta be the centerpiece. It'd take a couple trips, but I think we could get Thomas and some of his tools out here." "That's not a bad idea. We'll fix up half of it, make it look almost new. Give us the opportunity to have it go from being full of life to absolute ruins, where the dead lie in wait."
You already cooking something up?
Taking another look around the room, I could perceive a lot of potential, a distinct feeling of sorrow, a feeling of being utterly lost within the ever-expansive bayou. Maybe. Just need to think for a bit. "Come on, you big marshmallow. Let's go and get our camping gear and set up somewhere while Cody does his magic." The gator gave a nod and followed Tobin out of the ballroom, leaving me alone in the ruins of a once glorious scene. It was a tight space, just enough for a couple dozen people, elegant yet intimate. At one end, a lone, upright piano stood in the moonlight, like a memorial. A steady drip of water fell from the ceiling, probably after last night's rain, making it play out of an old note. Sorry, play out, but out of tune note. I am getting there, guys. Walking over to it, I took its deteriorated figure. That is what that says. Yeah, probably. The modest carvings in the wood, the now dull brass pedals, the old and yellowed keys, some of which were now stuck firm. And yet it seemed as though I'd once been, well loved, the pride and joy of the pianist, who took care of it like it was their son. Kneeling on the floor, I spotted a scrap of paper. It was damp. Miraculously, but barely holding together sheet music. Only half of it remains, a few notes still distinguishable. Closing my eyes, I let the infrequent and out-of-tune notes fill me. Keeping the notes committed to paper in mind, I let them guide my imagination toward the first scene of the movie. I saw a joyful summer in the French Quarter. There he stood, the center of the crowd in the French Quarter, surrounded by fellow musicians and a faithful upright. Playing cheerful jazz, upbeat music that inspired dance, laughter, smiles as far as the eye can see. Paradise in New Orleans. What's his name? Talking to myself briefly as I let my imagination run free, I pictured the crowd, the masses gathered in celebration of life. And then it hit me. It was a young talent, well-educated, with a natural affinity for music that my mother had spurred on. She'd spent every night schooling me, teaching me music, encouraging me. Every band I joined, I was the highlight, a prodigy that people longed to witness in person. Looking over the crowd, I caught eyes with the wolf, dressed in overalls. Overalls patched up 5 times over, sticking out almost the smartly dressed residents in the crowd. I noticed a light on his face. Like none I'd ever seen before. Seemingly captivated and enraptured by the jazz, even though his eyes fixated mostly on me and my playing. His very soul being warmed by our performance. This newcomer seemed to be experiencing exactly what brought me so much joy. Apparently, much more than he had bargained for by coming here. After 2 or more songs, the band and I took a break. Making my way through the crowd, I headed to the street vendors, purchasing 2 glasses of lemonade. It took me but a moment to make my way back to spot the fox again, approaching him with the offering of a kind smile and a drink of fresh lemonade. I handed him the latter, though he seemed nervous to accept. Cheer? Share? Share? I think that's supposed to be share? Sure, it's alright. A gift from me to you on this fierce summer afternoon. My name is Jebediah. Emil, I really like your music. Emil was clearly nervous, shaking like a leaf as he took a sip of the freshly tart drink. I like it too. Emil was a rather curious fox, so hesitant to take a sip that he'd only do it so whenever I took one for myself. Yes, sir. Ain't done ever had a chance before, but I wanted to. We animatedly talked back and forth for nearly an hour. I shared my love for music and New Orleans, expressing the warmth that filled me, the satisfaction I felt from putting smiles on people's faces with our energetic tunes, from admiring all of the emotions that gave life to that pure, unbridled passion. In return, Emil talked about his work on a crop-sharing plantation, the grueling day-in, day-out labor, and the few chances he got to do more beyond that. Even with that, he held a strong respect for it, and a loyalty to his family that I found downright honorable and admirable. As we talked, we slowly wandered over to the shore of the Mississippi, taking a seat together on a bench, watching ships pass by. I hate to say I've never really thought about it much, but it's true. Families like yours, working hard in the fields, making all of the city possible. Even the clothes I'm wearing right now. It's because of y'all's commitment and values. There was no denying how important the contribution of the lower class were in the lifestyle of the uppers. Like me, talking with Emil was making it increasingly apparent that I'd taken too much for granted. Lots of folks don't really think about us much. We just workers. Ain't nothing special. Not like you. Your music, it brings so much life. You bring color to the bayou, to the city, to everyone. Just looking at the smiles everyone had, ain't never done seen people so happy. It's like you're magical. The fox giggled, a true expression of the heart, so infectious it had me laughing along with him. Emil, you shouldn't talk about yourself like that. What you do has great value, and still, you're so much more than a worker. Just being able to gab with you, I can see that you've got a kind heart and a keen eye. The fox rubbed the back of his head with a paw, looking away nervously, his tail swishing slowly. Yeah, thank you. He is also special. Talking with someone like me and making such pretty music. Our friendship was newfound, but already strong. We inspired each other to look at the world from different perspectives for the first time ever. Looking up to the sky, the fox eyed the... Oh god, excuse me. Eyed the hues of orange and reds in the clouds, cast by the setting sun. I gotta go back to the plantation. Thank you for your kindness. Oh, wait, where's your plantation at? Why? Well, I reckon you can't find much time to come to the city, so I'll just have to come to you. If that's all right. Sure, I guess. Ma and Pa would appreciate the extra hands. The fox flashes me a friendly smile as he took to his feet. We exchanged a wave, and I watched as he headed off into the evening.
Cody!
Okay. I think we'll end the part here, everyone. That was pretty cute. That was a cool time. I'm curious how this is gonna go. Are we gonna actually see the filming experience? Are we gonna get more of Cody's imagination? What's going on? What do we do? Was this the film that they... Because this was the film that they showed at the start of Northern Lights, right? At the goodbye party? Or am I insane? I forget. It's been a hot minute. But anyway, I'll be ending the part here, everyone. So I hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you guys around.